Hi guys, how you doing? It's Ant here again. Right, today we're going to talk about what we do in the audio suite at VCA, okay? And you can tell I'm an audio person because I'm wearing headphones. It's a dead giveaway. Right, okay, what do? We take all your audio from your edit and we bring it into Pro Tools, which is the system that we use downstairs. And by all your audio, I mean your voiceover, your dialogue, your sound effects, your atmospheres, and your music. And we get a really nice mix of everything, and then we make a file, it goes off to Gordon, he pops it on your master, and there you go, you have a finished film. All right? Now, it's not quite as simple as that. There are some things along the way that we do need to do, but I'll take you through some of the things that we do, so you have more of an idea of what we do. I'm seeing how many times I can say do in a sentence. So there we go. All right, now, as I said, Pro Tools is the system that we use. And Pro Tools is the audio equivalent of an Avid, okay? It does more than the audio does in the Avid. We can do more finite things down here than you can upstairs, okay? So I have had the question a couple of times before, why do I need to come to you guys for a mix? Why can't I just do it upstairs? The reason being is we have better toys than you do. It's as simple as that. We can do a lot of things creatively, but there's also technical things that that you're not aware of that we need to do for your films to leave the building. Okay, so that's why you need to come downstairs to us. All right. So having a look at Pro Tools, this is the edit screen that has all your audio on it, which is what you would have seen if you saw my other clip about preparing your sound for mixing. This is where all the audio ends up on all these different tracks here, okay? If I show you another page, this is the mixer part of Pro Tools, and you can see here that there are lots of different knobs and different settings and the faders as well too. Now I should tell you a little bit at this point about what we have at VCA. We have the Avid S6 mixing console, which is the latest bells and whistles super duper clever mixing console from Pro Tools. And it's integrated with Pro Tools, okay? So if you actually look up on the screen, you'll see that I'm moving dialogue number 10 here, whereas if I actually go down to my little artist mix surface, you can see that dialogue number 10 is moving without me touching it. That's because Pro Tools is talking to my artist mixer that I have here in my home studio. Okay, so the two talk to each other. And the thing also that is worth knowing about how these work, they work with a system called automation. And what automation is, it remembers absolutely everything that you tell it to do. Okay, so it will remember the fades, it will remember the pans, and it will remember all the other bits and pieces that we might tell it to do from plugins. Okay, what are plugins, I hear you ask? Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. What are plugins, I hear you ask? Right, the way to think of a plugin is that it's like a function of the mixer, or if you like, an app. Okay, some apps, plugins, do certain things that others don't. All right, so that's the easiest way to think of it. And we've got lots of apps in our Pro Tools here for changing the sounds, for doing equalization, which I'll explain more in a minute, for putting reverb on things, which is, the sound of a room, like a big hall sounds different to a bathroom or something like that. So if you want your dialogue to have a big hall sound, we can do that. Or if you want to make your ADR or your voiceover or something, make it sound like it's in a bathroom, we can do that as well too. All right? But let's talk firstly about what we use EQ for, okay? Now, EQ is short for equalization, all right? And the way to think of EQ is it's like bass, mid-range, and treble, like you see on an amplifier at home, or it's like the tone control on something. So low being bass, high being treble, all right? But I'm going to show you what the EQ page, or one of the EQ pages in Pro Tools actually looks like, all right? So if we go up to the screen here, and I will bring up some EQ for you to have a look at, and I'll explain it a bit further. Now, instead of just having bass, mid-range, and treble, we have here on the red one, bass. The treble is the blue one here, if you like, and we've got 3 mid-range different frequencies that we can deal with there, all right? And we also have 1 and 2 different other types of filters as well too. Now, why would we need to use all those, I might hear you asking. Okay, we use those to either boost or perhaps minimize sounds that we do or we don't want. All right, so in dialogue, for example, we use those to get more presence from your dialogue. Okay, so an example I can think of for this, you know how sometimes when you watch the special features of a DVD and it shows you deleted scenes, and sometimes those deleted scenes don't actually sound like the rest of the film or the rest of the TV program? That's because more often than not, they've come out straight from the edit suite to DVD mastering or Blu-ray mastering or whatever you're watching it from, okay? They haven't been to an audio post session. So it means they haven't been EQ'd to get the best out of them, all right? So as I said, we use EQ to minimize, like if something is maybe a little bit muffled, I might be able to fix that with EQ. Or if we need to make things a little bit brighter, or if we want to change the sound of things, we use EQ to do that. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that right now, because we're going to do it from a sound design point of view, because we can use EQ in that sense as well too. Okay, so looking back up at the screen here, I have the world's most boring sound effect. It is a news report, and it's pretty dull, so I'll give you a listen to it.
Tom and Harriet Banks are the lucky winners of this past weekend Super Lottery draw. The pair came forward to claim their $11 million prize this morning and face the media.
Fantastic. Good on you, Tom and Harriet Banks. I'm very happy for you. Let's have a little bit of a look at what we can do with this. Now, if I actually take Tom and Harriet here and I go to one of the EQ sessions, perhaps the simplest one that I've got, I will make Tom and Harriet sound like they are coming through a television.
Tom and Harriet Banks are the lucky winners of this past weekend Super Lottery draw. The pair came forward to claim their
Okay, so that could be a TV
prize this morning and face the media. Tom Banks is an
a bit further and it becomes a radio, like a small one.
His plans are to keep working, but only after a 3-month vacation. Harriet Banks says she and her husband plan to donate a sizable
Now we're listening to a telephone
charity.
conversation.
Tom and Harriet Banks are the lucky winners of this past weekend Super Lottery draw. The pair came forward to claim their 11.
And now we could be listening to earbuds on the train. So all of that has changed the sound in 1, 2, 3, 4 ways from a sound design point of view. Okay, so going back to Tom and Harriet up here, we will do Tom and Harriet from another perspective as well too. Let's see if we can make Tom and Harriet sound as though they're on the other side of a door in a hallway or something.
Tom and Harriet Banks are the lucky winners of this past weekend Super Lottery draw. The pair came forward to claim their $11 million.
Okay, so a bit further.
And face the media. Tom Banks is an electrician and says
That could be from another room, through a wall or something like that.
Harriet Banks says she and her husband plan to donate a sizable amount.
And that's very much through a wall as well too. Okay.
The lucky winners of this past weekend Super Lottery draw. The pair came forward.
So we can do all sorts of bits and pieces from a sound design point of view there as well too. Now, something else we can do to Tom and Harriet, we can flip Tom and Harriet backwards so they sound perhaps a little bit demonic and a bit weird. Okay, so we flipped them backwards. Let's actually change their speed as well too, and we can make Tom and Harriet do strange, weird things. If we make them go very sped. Okay, sounding weird by the moment. Okay. And if we add another dimension to that, put some what's called reverse reverb on it. Yes, that was my fault, I know. There we go. Bit of reverse reverb. And now Tom and Harriet sound completely strange. So simply, from this,
Tom and Harriet Banks are the lucky winners of this past.
We ended up with this. Very odd, very strange. Okay, so that's just a very quick example of some of the bits and pieces that we can do down here, okay? Each of those effects I've used in different ways before. I've slowed music down so it sounds completely weird and very strange, but you still know what the music is, but it has a very strange demonic feel about it as well too. So there's loads and loads and loads of different things that we can do down here. It's very, very cool. Okay. So moving on to music, we can do the same sort of stuff with a music track as well too. Okay, so this is my favourite band from the 80s and 90s. They're called Concrete Blonde. They're great. Let's make Concrete Blonde sound as though they are through a radio. We'll do that trick again. Okay, here we go. So that's a TV perhaps. That could be a really small radio. Hold music on a phone. And now we're doing earbuds on the train. Okay, so that's the very obvious one. If we do that again with the other direction of EQ, that could be through a door. That could be from another apartment through a wall. And that's the boys doing laps in the Hyundai with the subwoofer going thumpa, thumpa, thumpa. So we can do a great deal of stuff very simply with EQ. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you as well too, because also I can do other reverby bits and pieces with that as well too. So let's perhaps make our Concrete Blonde track that we love so very, very much sound like it's in a big hall at soundcheck. Okay, so just bear with me a tick while I make sure all this is going to work, because when I practiced this before and without recording, it was all seamless. So in theory, it'll still do the same thing. All right, so here we go. Cool. Now it's in a big hall. So we're at soundcheck. What we can also do is make it sound now we're sounding outside in the street. There we go, we're standing outside the club in the street while they do their bits and pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell Pro Tools to remember that. Okay, so we'll just actually write this from one end to the other, like that. Bear with me a second while I do some stuff. Hold the line, please, caller. Okay. Okay, so Pro Tools will now remember that, and I'm going to move this down here seamlessly while I come up with something else. Now, we are standing outside the club, and it'd be great if we actually heard some traffic. It'd be really good if we had some sound effects for that. Oh wait, here's some. Right, first, let's actually put them in the middle of Brunswick Street, for example. Okay. So there's a bit of traffic going on there. That's cool, that's all well and good, but it would be nice if there were some people outside the club as well too. So let's put some people in. So now you're standing in the queue with a bunch of people. And because we're in Melbourne and we're on Brunswick Street, it would be great if we actually had a tram going in there as well too. So let's pop that in. Tram will be along shortly. Bear with me. There it is. Okay, so we are steadily creating a scene from absolutely nothing. Okay? That's what we do downstairs. We can actually do a lot of sort of sound designy bits and pieces to really put your characters and your film in a place, because that's what audio mixing and what sound design is all about. Giving your characters and giving your film a sense of place. All right? Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, I'll leave those exactly where it is, and I'll demonstrate what the mixer can actually do from an automation point of view. So here is a car pass. Bear with me. Okay, at the moment it's just in on the left side. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make that pass from left to right. Okay, so we will go to our other screen here, and I will seamlessly and smoothly, there we go. Okay, if I just actually play that back now, you'll see that the car pass is going from one side to the other. So if I now integrate that with the rest of the mix, okay, that took a little bit long to get there, and it was a lot smoother when I did it when I wasn't recording, I have to admit, but I'm sure you get the idea. Okay, Pro Tools has remembered everything that I've done, and I can move that around all over the timeline, and it will still remember what it's done in terms of levels, in terms of the panning, in terms of the EQ, and everything like that. Okay, this next bit was something that I just thought of this morning, and I wasn't too sure whether I was going to sort of throw it in or not, but I will, and it's giving an explanation of two things. It's giving an explanation of some really good sound design and what we can actually do with your audio clips as well too, and how we can tidy up your dialogue, but it's also giving a really good explanation of what well recorded sound can sound like, particularly when you do it with a boom, and how it actually affects everything that's going on in your scene. Okay, it's from a film that I mixed a couple of years ago called The Moon and the Earth by a student called Andy Cunningham, and he did a really, really, really good job. So I'm going to play you a little bit of it, and then I'm going to tell you some bits and pieces about it. Okay, here it comes.
Found it.
Katie? Can I have some, please? Jeannie. Fucking have some, please!
What, Drew?
Can I have some?
Drew.
Jeannie! Give me some!
There's nothing here!
Come to my fucking house! Where is it?
I don't have anything.
You fucking smell it.
I don't have anything here.
Settle down! Fuck! Settle down! Fuck! Stop! Fucking come to my house!
You're big,
Get out! Fucking leave! It's alright, it's okay! Jeannie, it's okay. It's all good, hey, it's all good. Just have a little bit, please. Just a little bit.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
I can't do it, Drew.
Look at me, I love you so much. I love you so much.
Don't do this.
You can just come back inside. You just give me a little bit, please.
No.
It's all good, just give me a little
Drew,
bit.
no.
Just give me a fucking little bit, that's all I'm asking.
Drew, I said fucking no!
Fucking
Guys!
stop!
Jeannie!
Come on!
You've got to leave! Please!
Jeannie, please! Come back! I promise that I need it. Please come back. Jeannie!
Okay, so it's a pretty dark film, but it is a really good film, and the guys did a really, really good job. Okay, so the things that I'd like you to take away from this clip, first off, is the use of boom and lav mics. Okay, because it was boomed so well, particularly with Jeannie doing all those bits and pieces with the plastic and the tinfoil and things, we picked it up really, really well. She wasn't saying anything, but all that stuff was part of the scene, and we could hear it really, really well. But more importantly, you got a great perspective of Drew on one side of the door saying, Jeannie, can I have some please? And her going, no, I haven't got any. When Drew kicked in that door, bang, here he is. He's gone from outside to inside really powerfully. And because of the way it was recorded, we got that perspective stuff all done for us really, really easily. Going further into the scene, all that fighting and scuffling and everything, it picked up the mayhem and everything that was going on in that room. It picked up the feet, it picked up him kicking over stuff, it picked up the scuffling, it picked up all the noises from, all the vocal noises from people while they were in that scene. It picked up absolutely everything because it was boomed really, really well. If that part if they used lavs on that part to record all the sound there, it would have been a sea of distortion, okay? And it just would not have sounded anywhere near as good, okay? So a good boom will do a great job. Moving on, when we went outside, that was a mixture of boom on Drew and lav on Jeannie, okay? So we got a great perspective of him with all the atmosphere and everything happening around it, and we just got her quiet lines of her going, no. Because she was laved, mic'd up, and we got Drew on the boom, we got everything we needed. So we were able to do a blend of all the dialogue there from different sources. So it worked really, really, really well. So it's a great scene. So on top of that, with all the Atmos and everything else, that's a great example of the music track that we blended in, with the Atmoses that we blended in, some really nicely recorded dialogue. If I was being really OCD about this, then yeah, they missed a couple of lines in the cupboard there, but overall, it came up really, really, really well. But from a sound design point of view, there was something I wanted to mention to you. We only saw it once in that clip, but earlier on in the film, and it's worth going and looking out to see if you can find it, there's that yellow light going across the screen, which I guess could be perceived as the demon drug and all the rest of it. It had a roaring sound underneath it, okay? That wasn't an animal or anything like that. It was actually a very clever piece of thinking outside the box. Now, ordinarily, I'd say, what do you think it is? But obviously we can't do that, so I'm just going to tell you. It was a 50-cent coin, or maybe a 20-cent coin, can't remember. He did tell me, but I've forgotten, to be honest. But it was a coin being scraped across a desktop. And I'll do it right now so you can hear what it sounds like. This is just on my desk here in my studio. You put that sound with that image and it works really well. So that's a great example of thinking outside the box with sound design and thinking about what noise in the real world makes the noise I want that to sound like. So the guys did a great job. Right, that's pretty much about it. I hope this has been helpful, and I look forward to chatting with you in a Zoom meeting soon. See ya.